People were trying really hard not to spoil things, but they were a little bit. I was told that the Queen of Hatred is going to be a pretty rough fight. I was also told that the next fight for invitations is going to be a pretty rough fight. I want to do all of those. I don't know which order I want to do those in. I'm thinking maybe I'll take on the Queen of Hatred first. But because I was told that it was going to be a pain, I changed a few things. Normally, I don't like to go over my builds just because sometimes it's a little boring. But I figure with how everything's going to be ramping up, it's probably a good idea for us to know what I'm doing. That way you can help me try to figure out what I'm doing wrong when it doesn't work. Anyway, I'm using Oscar's page, I'm using Salvador's page, I'm using Hanafuda's page. I'm using Oscar's page with the speed dice, the unrelenting, which is, the lethal blow. Probably going to be the last one to survive right before they get obliterated, but they will. They'll survive. And then everything is all piercing damage. Everything is all piercing damage. I have +1 for the piercer, jolting puncture, +1 stagger damage for piercing. I have wedge, which is very expensive for doing pierce. Oh, that's all the dice. Oh, that's really good. That's why that's really expensive. So pierce dice power goes up. Pierce stagger damage goes up. I've got open wound, which deals +1 damage against anyone with bleed. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more bleed with this one. And then stagger damage goes up with bleed again for twist wound, which was nice because we got those from the chain ones. The ones that did bleed damage to us, which I thought was really weak. But if you get rid of the crappy one that does damage to themselves, bleed damage build really benefits from these one cost passives. And then we have the digging shank. When inflicting bleed using combat pages, apply +1 additional stack. With that in mind, we're using some of the carnival cards. So tailoring, that will do bleed. So each one of those will be 4 bleed if I can hit. Then we also have collision, which we just got, I think from Oscar, which will give us lights back. Because Oscar does not have the ability to discard cards and gain lights. So I know I'm going to run out of lights pretty quick, as well as out of cards. So I need to figure out a way to draw cards. I used Trans Pierce. Again, everything's all piercing. Wet, which will give me strength and an additional light if I can win those clashes. And then I have Sparking Spear, which is going to be drawing us pages. That's kind of what that is designed for, and then I had to throw in a decent 1 cost and some 0 cost to gain the lights that we're inevitably going to lose. That way I can actually use my bleed, which is sort of the whole function of this. Pierce hard, bleed much. Then we have Salvador's page, which is kind of the same, but sort of different, because it's burn. It's all burn based, which we picked up from Philip. That was a good battle to start with. I'm glad whoever suggested from left to right, you're the MVP, because these cards are going to help us immensely. We have Flash of Sunup, which inflicts burn. Also helps us draw a page. That's the one downside to Salvador's, is I don't know how we're getting pages off of this one. So we could get to the point where we have like 1 option each turn, which will suck. But it's better to have that and like stack all these burns, I think. Because it's getting to the point I noticed with Philip, it's hard for us to do direct damage. So unless we're doing true damage, like all of the piercing cards like to do with Pamela and Pamela, or we're doing burn or bleed or some sort of stasis, we're gonna be hitting a wall now. And it's gonna take a little bit of time because I just made these and I don't know how they work yet. And we don't have another abnormality page to rely on. I don't have my flying lungs. I love those so much. And I don't have any sort of Yasad blunt damage mechanism to rely on either. I paused for a second because this is terrifying. It has 3 speed dice? I guess let's see what they have to say about it before I freak out. She'd often come out to aid us, but she was more trouble than help. That feels right. That is exactly how I would describe her. Wasn't it supposed to be a magical girl? She's a total mess. She always was a total mess. Just look at that face. It screams a mess. And then we were fooled by that cute appearance and left ourselves wide open for a hard blow. I wasn't. I always knew that they were terrifying and terrible. They turn into a dragon. An actual evil dragon. Which, do they do that in this? I guess I should pay attention. Speed 2. Oh, crap. That's why speed is purple. Because there's another one. That's a skill we're going to be able to get eventually. How many dice can one person have? I bet I'll find out by the end of this. And then adverse change. When the hysteria gauge is filled, transform. Oh, good. What is a hysteria gauge? The hysteria gauge rises upon losing clashes or being attacked by marked characters. Which one of them is marked? I don't see anything. I'm assuming that everything is just kind of normal right now. No one is currently marked. I'm sure I'll see it. There'll probably be like a crosshair on them or something. And then the screen pinkens from left to right as the gauge fills. Oh, the whole screen? Like the Call of Duty I'm hurt and I'll heal soon screen? That's cool, I guess. At the end of the scene, restore all light and draw 2 cards. At the end of every scene? Yeah, there's a period there, so yes. Quit adding to the same skill. Just put a different one. In the name of hate, uses a page that leaves a mark on the target every 2 scenes. So cool. I have 2 scenes to do some massive damage before that happens. And then all resistances on the marked character change to weak, and the character will be primarily targeted by the abnormality. As long as it's not Hanafuda, we can pull that damage. That's the whole Hanafuda design. I wish they were faster, but there's nothing I can do about that, because Hanafuda is the main card for that. Everyone else needs to be doing damage, and they just happen to be faster. Eventually, I'll find a tank. I am really intent on trying to make myself a single key page that is mainly a tank that can just absorb damage. That would be so cool to me, and I don't think that it really has that in mind, but I might be wrong. Maybe there will be one. And then there's Arcana Slave, uses a mass attack page that we haven't. This is going to be our first look at mass attack pages. So mass attacks will target all librarians every 4 scenes. If the abnormality uses the page while transformed, it becomes staggered on the following scene. So I need it to transform. And it only transforms by us winning clashes, because it gets frustrated, and then its hysteria builds up. Then it becomes the dragon. I think I want to time that so it transforms into the dragon the moment it's going to use that mass attack. I don't know if that increases the amount of damage that we're going to take. I can only guess that's probably what's going to happen, but otherwise, they'll use the mass attack anyway, and it won't be staggered. So I think that would be a total waste. Okay, here we go. This is it. Deep breaths. We can do this. Let's see what kind of cards we're working with. So far, so good. Daring Decision will drop all of those cards, which will cause us to draw a bunch of cards, activate a bunch of lights. It should... If I use the rules of the backstreet as well, I think that'll draw another card, which will give us another light, and I can hopefully clash against some of this. Marks the target. That's a 6 to 10. And then on clash, lose. Lower the max value of the last die by 3. The last die? The previous one? How does that... Oh, or do you mean the final dice? The 4 to 12. That would actually be huge if I can win both of those clashes, because that 4 to 12 is massive, and it inflicts 3 bind and gain 2 strength next scene. That's got to be what it is. It can't be the previous dice unless it's going to give me health back. So it has to be the last dice on this page. So I have to beat that one. And then there's this one, In the Name of Justice, gain +5 power if the attack is one-sided. Gain +5 power if the attack is one-sided. So that cannot be one-sided. I have to clash against that. So I have to win all of these? And then there are Arcana beats. That just marks the target. There is no, like, if it hits. marks that target. That's kind of bad. So let's see if I can clash and win against this 2 cost one, because that's the one I have to win against. That's really, really powerful if it goes through. And I do have Daring Decision that can do it. Right off the bat, we're going to be kind of weak until we start leveling up our emotion. I can beat a 6 to 10. Or should I go ahead and do Searing Sword because it's only going to be 1 attack? So the second one will definitely hit. There will definitely be some burn. So we're definitely going to get our value engine running. I don't have a 1 cost card, which is unfortunate. And then I have to block that too. We're going to pierce, so that means that both of those dice are getting boosted. So we have the advantage against this one. Not only that, but we're also boosting our piercing dice anyway. Okay, I'm talking way too much, and I'm sorry I'm over-explaining this. Let's just get to it. And I probably am going to leave in as much of this as possible because people were saying that they really want me to do that. Hey, it worked! We beat that one! And now we're just Oh, we didn't beat that one. I was hoping we could. We did quite a bit of damage. We started some burn. I know that as we go, we're going to fall behind because they get full lights. Oh, the background. Okay, I see it now. I was wondering where the pinkening was happening. We're about halfway. We have 3 more turns to get this fully pinkened so they can transform before they use that mass attack. They're using the same attacks over and over. I can let that last one go through. That's not a problem. That's just 4 to 8 damage. I can completely avoid that last one. Feather Shield will be good because I can inflict burn if we win those clashes. And we do need to win clashes because she has to transform. We're probably not going to win that middle one, but we could win that first one. And then if this hits, which it should, as long as I make it a one-sided attack, we're going to inflict more burn. More burn means more stagger damage. More stagger damage means more overall damage once they transform. Yeah, good. We blew right through all of that. And we blew right through all of that too. Win one. I couldn't tell if we won that one or not. There's some one-sided attacks. We're doing well. Not great, but we're almost have her down to the halfway point. There is some paralyzed and some fragile and quite a bit of bleed. Now is when all of our value kicks in. I really wish we had other abnormality cards to rely on, but we don't. So let's see if we can stagger her before that becomes a problem. Please at least beat all these one-sided attacks. That so far was doing really good. Oh, they got marked. So yeah, it doesn't matter if we beat the marked page or not. They're still gonna get marked. Yeah, Hysteria! They transformed! They're the... Oh, no! She got fully healed! What? I didn't want her to be fully healed. Anyway, this is our first mass attack. Let's see what it does. In the icon on the combat page, indicates that it is a mass attack page. Oh, this thing. I see. So anything that has that weird star-looking thing. When you select a page with a mass attack page, it will automatically target a random speed die for each other enemy. So each enemy is getting attacked. It'll target one of the speed dice for each one. A mass attack page will always be played before melee and ranged pages, regardless of speed. The dice rolls of the mass attack page are compared with the rolls of combat pages on the targeted speed dice. And the target that rolls lower than the mass attack will take damage and have their dice be destroyed. Okay. Which dice, though? What about a page that has, like, a bunch of dice? I still don't know what's happening. 2 types of mass attack pages exist. Individual and summation. Individual mass attacks are compared against the roll of each individual die on the targeted speed dice's combat page in sequence, excluding counter dice. Wait. What does that mean? So, individual on so each individual person has each individual dice compared, and it goes through each one. So let's say if I roll a 5 and then a 6. Do I subtract 5 from the damage I'm taking and then a 6 from the damage I'm taking? And then whatever is left over at the bottom goes through and we get dealt that damage? That's what I think is happening. It like goes incrementally through and then the leftover hits us. And then the summation. Mass attacks are compared against the sum of the dice rolls on the targeted speed dice's combat page, excluding countered dice. So wait, isn't that the same thing? If I sum up all of the dice in the page, it would be the same as comparing each one and subtracting them. Oh, no. No, it's saying that if it overpowers each individual dice, it just destroys them. It doesn't subtract, right? So we don't get the leftover damage. We just get all of the damage unless we can beat that power. Is this a 12 to 40? No, this is This is a 5 cost. This is a different thing. This has got to be different. That's a 5 cost green stamp. These are really powerful. This is much later. There is no way, right? What am I up against? No, seriously, what am I up against? A 16 to 20? And then she also does the one-sided attack? And then recover HP equal to the roll's value. Well, good. She's maxed HP, so that doesn't affect her at all. Good news. Great news. They're going to be staggered, and we're going to be staggered, and it's going to be just a fresh start after that. Let's go and see what happens. Ow. 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 That hurt a lot. They're staggered. Yeah, both of them are staggered, but they're not dead. Not dead is way better than almost dead. Why didn't we get all the extra lights off of that? That's okay, because I have binding arms, which will do some of the paralysis. That'll help a little bit. And then I can also draw an extra card with Rules of the Backstreets. That's going to be one-sided. We're going to be pumping up our emotion. We don't have any emotion coins currently. I guess let's follow through. If nothing else, we'll get some emotion coins for this. I thought one-sided attacks give us emotion coins. Can they only go to level 1? Oh, I didn't think about that. Maybe because we don't have an abnormality, we can't actually go to the different team emotion levels. Does she not transform back? So I actually made this way harder for myself trying to be cute. Because now she's just a 300 beast for a while. What was I thinking? Why did I think that that would help me? I thought she would get staggered and then transform back like she does some... No, she doesn't. She doesn't. When she gets out, she's fully transformed the whole time until I suppress her. That was stupid. And I knew better. I should restart this and try to win this because this is not gonna work. I do have a way to beat her. I can try. We can keep going. No, crap! I hit the button. I didn't mean to. Okay, now I have to restart because that was stupid. That was so dumb. I went from maybe I could do it, right? 1 HP in a dream time. We've done that plenty of times. So this is not happening anymore. How do I stop the fight? I can beat her. I just have to let her hit us, and I have to do more damage to her than she's doing to us. Stupid, click the button twice. I didn't do that on purpose, anyone that was wondering. I really didn't. For some reason, my brain said, oh, we haven't hit the speed dice yet, because I was busy talking and not paying attention. So let's pay attention. Let's go through. There's going to be people that she's going to attack. I actually have to... Let's see. It rises upon losing clashes or being attacked by marked characters. So currently no one is marked, but they will be marked. Okay, so if I think about this, I don't want whoever she's going to mark attacking, but I want them heavily defending. And I don't know that, so I can't build a specific tank to draw all that damage until I get someone really fast. So I just need to spread this damage out. Combined, we have less health than her, so we have to be doing more damage to her than she is to us. If I can manage that, we win, hands down. And so far, it looks like we're doing okay. We got marked, but we didn't necessarily attack her. But she lost quite a few of those clashes, so it is pinkening in the background. It says I can get rid of that. How does it decreases upon winning clashes or attacking marked characters? The screen pinkens from left to right. So I sort of have to let her hit our poor Rogan a little bit. If I'm understanding this right, that pinkening should go down a little bit. So we're getting hit. We should be losing those clashes. How did we win those clashes? That's more pinkening. We don't want those. The whole point is to lose all of these. Well, now I have to just take some damage against whoever is getting targeted. They just have to get wailed on. Rogan will take damage on this, and we have to lose that second clash, so that will help us a little bit. Don't transform. There's just... See, now, there's a lot of extra damage that you just did to the marked character. No, how did we... Maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay. Maybe I shouldn't panic just yet. Yeah, look! It all went way back! It's fine! Look at all of that back there. Now I should be able to defend myself a little bit. This is like a little bit of a give and take. It's okay. 13 is way better than what it was before. I don't know what it was before, but I could do 13. And then here's another question. If our first attack, which supposedly is clashing with that mass attack, wins, does that mass attack go away for everybody? Or does it go each person and it analyzes each of the speed dice? I guess I'll find out, because this first one's definitely going to win. And then I should probably... I should use my backstreet rules, right? To try to stop this from being a one-sided attack. And maybe I'll lose it. I could lose this clash pretty easily. They do have the advantage here. But I just don't want that to be a one-sided attack against Tiferet. But I want to clash and lose. If that makes... It doesn't make sense. But, oh. So it attacks everybody. That is a lot of hysteria. Actually, that's okay. That's so much damage. They're both staggered, and Tiferet only has one card to draw that damage. Maybe I am better off wailing on her, transforming her quickly. That dragon is so strong. I think if I just rolled better, that was just bad luck. They both had really good cards and could have won that, and just they didn't. I have to pull one of the damage off of Rogan. Because even though Yuri's going to take double damage, as long as they don't roll max for the Arcana beats, then theoretically they should survive this. So we definitely lost that. They got staggered. They got hit. Oh, they rolled so well. They rolled so well. Darn it. This is hard. We're close. I can feel it. If I could figure out a way to stagger her somehow. The good news is she's going to be attacking the marked character, so we can go one-on-one. We can solo her with Tiferet, even though that's not going to work. We have 2 lights to block all of this. That's not happening. Because then she's going to get marked, and we're going to get hit pretty hard anyway. All of this damage is going through, no matter what, because she does range damage. She doesn't run out of range damage. Usually, don't those cards disappear after they've been used once? And this is a lot of damage, especially since we have the mark. Oh, well. Just take the hit. Yay! It did all the damage. At least we can get done with... Oh, no! I have Oscar's stupid ability! That would just go. Just end it. Why? The Oscar's ability sucks. Just rubs it in my face. It wouldn't be as bad if they were the first person to get hit, but they were the last one. Let's do, I guess, the next invite. If this is difficult too, then what I'll have to do is I'll definitely have to do some general invitations. Anyway, let's go and see. This is Tommy? Tommy and Mary. We know them. God! I should have listened to my own instincts. I should have known. Everything was screaming that those two couldn't be trusted. Everything. But some of the comments were saying sometimes that I'm a little too critical of some people and I need to let my guard down a little bit. Whoa, this is what I get. Never again will I be deceived.